Hello there, I'm Jay Hopkinson and welcome once again to Geeky Goblin. This is episode 3 of our Hobby Basics mini-series, and in this episode I'll be showing you how to undercoat models. So in the first 2 episodes we learnt the materials you would need, and we also learnt how to clean your models up, getting them ready to be undercoated, or primed as it's called. So as discussed in one of those episodes, we talked about an undercoat stick. This was an idea that I came up with when I lived in London because I had nowhere to spray my models. I didn't want to do them inside, and the front door led basically straight onto the street. So I didn't want to have newspaper down in the street trying to spray models when people were walking past. So all I've done is blue tacked models to a stick. So you put the models in the middle of the stick so that you can hold it at either end, which gives you better control when you're spraying it. And then when you want to get the other side, you can put your hand at the other end of the stick without getting covered in paint. So that works very well. You can put 40 or 50 models on a stick and just go down the whole thing. It's actually quite, I don't know why I never thought of it before when I was younger. What we're going to use is, we've got a Citadel black, a black that I got from a local shop that just sells a bit of everything, which was less than half the price of this. So we'll show you the difference between those two. We've got gold and we've got grey cere, which is a contrast spray paint, well, for contrast paints, but you can use normal paints on top of it, it's fine. We're going to paint these 2 black, and then we're going to put gold onto one of them, so you can see how gold covers black quite nicely. We're going to go direct with gold onto this one, so you can see how bad it looks on grey plastic. And we're going to use grey cere on this one, just so that you can see the different colours basically. But then when we come to paint later on in the next 2 episodes, we'll be able to show different painting techniques based on the undercoats that we've got, so that'll be quite useful. So when you are spraying models, you need to hold the can about 8 inches to 10 inches away. And you need to go evenly. Don't keep trying to do little squirts all the time or you'll get splatters. You don't want any rippling effect, which happens when you hold it too close, and you might have seen sometimes in the past, perhaps you've got paint filling the recesses and it's all congealed. That's because you're too close with the can. The can needs to be shaken up well for about 2 minutes so you can hear the little ball going around. It needs to be longer than that. It does need to be about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. So I'm going to go away and spray these, then I'm going to come back, we'll look at the differences in the undercoats, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do to them in the painting episode. So off I go. Okay, we're back. We've undercoated the models. So what we've got now is 5 different models, 5 different types of undercoat. These 2, this is the one which was undercoated with the cheap paint from the shop that sells everything. So that's with your cheap £4 spray black. Now there's not much difference at all in the 2 there. You can see that this maybe hasn't covered some of the grey as well. But I didn't want to go too heavy with that because the paint is actually thicker. This one's got a more even coat. But it'll be interesting to see how different these models come out when painted after using an undercoat that was essentially a quarter of the price. So that'd be a good way to save money if this one works out as well as this. And you've got your 2 golds. So the one on the left, we're looking at the Primaris Space Marine there. That's been undercoated black first. So as you can see, the recesses are darker. Because what I've done is, when I've gone over it with the gold spray, I haven't put as much effort in to trying to fill the recesses up. So, having darker recesses on a model is what you want anyway, because that's the natural look. This guy, if I put them so you can see a larger surface of each, this gold definitely looks lighter than this one, but I think this one is a much smoother finish, a much nicer look with the black underneath. Now, that's not to say that this model's going to look rubbish when it's painted, because it probably will still look okay, but I do think that that's a better look. And it's also worth noting that if you're going to spray a model red or blue or any colour, undercoating it a different colour first is a great idea, because it gives something for the red or the blue or green, whatever, to adhere to. And it means you can, if you want a slightly darker tone of green than the one you've got in the spray can, you can put black down first and it'll darken it up, or if you want a brighter tone, you can put white down first and then put the green down, or red or blue, anything, and it'll lighten that up. And a lot of people think that they're putting too much paint on the models by spraying twice, but you're not really. You just do 2 light coats. And in the old days, when we didn't have all these colours, we didn't have access to reds, blues, greens, pinks, oranges in spray cans. We didn't have all that, so you had to undercoat black or you had to undercoat white, so you'd be putting another layer on it anyway. So it's all about keeping your paint thin later on in the painting process. This grey sear paint, I think that's my new favourite undercoat. I think I've been undercoating nearly everything in this. I mean, look, it's really smooth. It's classed as a contrast undercoat from Games Workshop, but that doesn't mean that it's exclusive to contrast paints. You can use normal paints with it, any paints, and it's the perfect tone for white, because it's slightly darker than white. You can build up to white, you can wash the recesses to make it a dark grey. I mean, if you just run Null Oil all over that, you've basically got, you know, a grey miniature that's been washed, done. But we'll have some fun with that one, actually. We can try some interesting things out on that one. So the next step really is to decide what the first painting tutorial is going to be. And I think basically we're going to go for how to paint a model quickly. So what I'll do is I'll go away, I'll come up with a colour scheme for 1 or 2 of these, come back and we'll start painting some miniatures.